Hello everyone, Mr. Causey here with another problem of the week. And this week our problem comes from Nicole, and she had several questions. I'm going to try and get about 3 or 4 of them done here with this lesson. How does lithium become an ion and bond? And a lot of things can be covered here as we talk about lithium, how it becomes an ion, and especially a cation, and how does it bond. We've got to remember first that lithium is a metal, which means it will lose electrons and become a cation and have a positive charge. I know that just from the fact that lithium is a metal. Alright, to the blackboard. How many valence electrons? Lithium has 1 valence electron. And you can find that on the periodic table. You go to the periodic table and you look and see that there is just 1 valence electron. So let's draw the Lewis dot symbol. So it has 1 electron. So we'll put that electron in there. There's the Lewis dot symbol. And now we need to remember the octet rule. And by the way, if you need to brush up on valence electrons or the octet rule, I believe there are some videos on my YouTube site that you can go to and get refreshed on those. The octet rule says atoms tend to gain or lose electrons in order to obtain a noble gas configuration. And basically what they want is they want to either drop and lose an electron or move ahead and gain electrons. But what we have to remember that if it loses, it becomes positive, and if it gains, it becomes negative, because electrons are negative. So if you lose something negative, you become more positive, or if you gain something negative, then you become more negative. Gain or lose? Well, we need to remember something. That is, nature tends toward the lowest energy, and it requires energy to lose or gain electrons. So it doesn't matter if you lose electrons or gain electrons, it's going to cost you energy. So really, which way is going to be the fewest, losing or gaining? So will lithium gain or lose? Let's check it out. Let's go to the periodic table. On the periodic table, we see that lithium is right there in the first column. And by the way, that whole family, the alkaline family, they all have 1 valence electron. So will it lose 1 electron and go back to helium? Or will it become like neon and gain 7 electrons? Well, the rule is the easiest way, the lowest energy. And so it's easier to lose 1 than it is to gain 7 electrons. Well, I would say it's going to lose. Lithium will lose 1 electron and become a cation. And that's how we would write it. Lithium plus has a +1 charge. Back to the blackboard, let's talk about the bonding of lithium. Now the bonding of lithium and the rules here apply to the whole alkali family, and it also applies to the alkaline earth metal family. You're just dealing with a 2+ instead of a 1+ charge. So there's lithium with its +1 charge that we already know. And then let's combine it with oxygen. Now, just to see if you've been paying attention, what is oxygen's valence? So go look on your periodic table and count over. And you notice if you count over, it's 6 times. Oxygen has a valence of 6. So I'm going to write out the Lewis dot symbol. Now, what charge does oxygen have? Is it going to lose 6 electrons to go back to helium, or is it going to gain 2 and become like neon? Well, again, if you remember the rule about going to the easiest energy, it would gain 2. It'd be easier to gain 2 than to lose 6. So then we have a -2 charge, because when you gain electrons, you become negative. Now, the question here is, will they combine? Will they react? And of course they will, because opposites attract. And now that I know opposites attract, I know that those 2 are going to combine. How are they going to combine? Well, we got a problem. If you note that we have a -2 charge on the oxygen, but a +1 charge on the lithium, they're not balanced. And in order to be a compound, you must be balanced. Now, a question that a lot of people ask me here sometimes is, why aren't polyatomic ions compounds? Polyatomic ions are not compounds because they have a charge, and compounds do not have a charge. And also, because they have a charge, they're going to quickly combine with other substances. Negative polyatomic ions are going to go with things that are positive because opposites attract. And positive polyatomic ions are going to go with things that are negative because opposites attract. So what we have to remember here is that in order to be a compound, we must be balanced. So my goal here is to balance out these two charges, and the best way I can do that is to add 2 lithium. Instead of having 1 lithium, add another lithium, and I have 2. So I'll do that. There we go. Now, 2 lithium and 1 oxygen will combine to be lithium oxide. Now remember, I don't have to use any numerical prefixes because this is a ionic compound. It's a metal and a nonmetal. And usually a metal and a nonmetal means ionic. And of course this one, lithium oxide, is very ionic. So it's not a problem, but it's lithium oxide. And so there we have it. We saw lithium's charge. We saw that lithium is a cation. And we saw that oxygen is an anion. And the two come together and make lithium oxide. So review. Metal or nonmetal, Lewis dot symbol, octet rule, oxidation number and charge, balance, use your periodic table. All of these things are very important. If you have any questions, send an email to mr.causey at mr.causey.com. Remember to check out Mr. Causey's World, PowerPoint videos, and much, much more. Happy auto.